right, here she is, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene with Leslie Stahl last night on 60 Minutes.
It wasn't a decision that I came to lightly, but it was a very important decision for myself and also for my family.
It was sudden.
It was sudden, but a lot of things changed. I stood for women who were raped when they were 14 years old, and the president that I fought for 5 years called me a traitor for that. And so that changed the landscape of things.
So I'm going to ask you straight out. Mm-hmm. Did you surrender? Did Donald Trump run you out of town?
No, not at all. Actually, Leslie, it's more like this, is I said in my statement, I will be no one's battered wife, and I meant it.
Wow. Now, lest you think it's just about Epstein, the outgoing Congresswoman made it very clear last night it has a lot more to do with plenty of other issues besides the Epstein files.
He did come after you pretty hard. He called you a lunatic, I'm quoting. He said all she does is complain, complain, complain in caps, and then he called you a traitor. So he hit you, whacked you.
Yes, he did this in the same time span where President Trump brought in the al-Qaeda leader that was wanted by the U.S. government, who is now the president of Syria. Then within a week, he brought in the Crown Prince, MBS, who murdered an American journalist. And then he brought in the newly elected Democrat Socialist mayor of New York. That was the time span that he called me a traitor.
All right. I don't know. I talked to my buddy Joey Hudson this morning. He knows Georgia politics well, of course. He's the kind of the king of Carolina politics. He said, I'm at a loss. I don't get it. You know, our colleague and friend Scott Jennings said that that President Trump himself explained to Scott what happened with Marjorie Taylor Greene. She wanted to run for governor, and Trump simply showed her the polling that suggested she didn't stand a chance, and it ticked her off, and she turned on him. I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe it's that simple. Is she just a woman scorned politically? This is a woman who stood there and campaigned relentlessly for President Trump. And make no mistake, I like her a lot. But I don't like any of this. And it's not good. Not good for the House in the midterms. It's not good for the country. Do you have an explanation? Do you have any theories as to why this has gone off the rails the way it has? Join me. 800-655-MIKE. 800-655-6453. Here's Vicky, as we were wondering why in the world this had to happen. And make no mistake, I hate it. And look, we can kind of joke a little bit about this, but it's not funny. Watching all this drama between Republicans is not helpful. It's not productive. It's not useful. Trump is frustrated with her. She's frustrated with him. But in her case, she's walking away. She's throwing in the towel. She's resigning from Congress, which, of course, could really hurt the Republicans during the midterms. And this is bad on every level. And I asked my friend and colleague Joey Hudson this morning, why do you think she's doing this? He said, Mike, I can't figure this one out at all. We're all kind of left scratching our heads, except for caller Vicky from earlier today, who said she knows exactly why Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is behaving the way she's behaving. Hey, Vicky, welcome back. What do you think's going on with MTG?
Well, I want you to know that I've been through this myself, so I'm an authority. I just want to say that I think that Marjorie Taylor Greene is at the age that she's going through menopause. She's going through a change, and that makes her mean as a snake.
Ouch.
I'm sorry. I've been there myself, seen it too many times. And she's with a crowd of women going through the same thing. That's all I got to say, baby.
Well, Vicky, you could get away with it because you say you've been there, done that. If I say it, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. I'm not going to say it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I said it.
I'll say you said it. I'm quoting Vicky. So you think she's menopausal?
Of course she is. She's at the age. Look at her. She's acting like a nut. I mean, we all did it. We all do it. And shoot a little caffeine in on top of that. Honey, you're gone.
All right. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate it. All right. Again, not me. That was caller Vicky. I don't want anybody to put on social media Mike Gallagher called Marjorie Taylor Greene menopausal. But look, we had Scott Jennings on the show, and Scott said he was told right from the horse's mouth, President Trump, she's mad because she essentially wanted him to support her for running for governor, and he showed polling. All he did was show the polling saying that she'd get clobbered, and that ticked her off, and she turned. I will say this. When people turn on her, on him, when Republicans turn on Trump, boy, do they turn. Golly, do they turn. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, these people, these Republicans, these never-Trumpers, or, I don't know, what do you call a staunch Trump supporter like Marjorie Taylor Greene who becomes a Trump hater? It's got to be a whole new category for people like MTG. But there's no lukewarm about it. It is a red-hot rage opposing him on just about every policy under the sun. And look, in context, I watched the whole interview last night on 60 Minutes. You know, when I'm sitting on the couch thinking, all I wanted to do yesterday was enjoy football. I'm running off to the emergency room. The doctors got me convinced my eyeball's about to pop out of my head. I got a maybe torn retina. You know, all hell breaking loose in my household. And it was so comforting to watch the Buffalo game. Even though I felt bad for the Bengals, isn't it fun to watch a football game when it's snowing to beat the band? I love that. I love that. Anyway, so I got back from the hospital, watched 60 Minutes on, DVR, and there was Marjorie Taylor Greene, and her point is, look, I'm America first. Leslie Stahl said, are you MAGA? She goes, I'm America first. MAGA is Trump, and that's not America first. Sue's in Chicago, 20 minutes before the hour. Hey, Sue, Merry Christmas. Welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, I agree that, the menopausal, she's going through it. She's got a little rage in her. But I also think that, what she's been fighting for, she's a fighter. And she's been fighting a long time, so she's been getting hit.
But a fighter, to paraphrase Leslie Stahl, if she's a fighter, why quit?
Well, I think she's getting hit in other areas besides Trump. But, you all have to jump on Trump. Everyone jumps on Trump. That's the deal of all this. Jump on Trump.
I know.
But he's been doing a lot of things. There's many, many things he's doing. But when it comes a big story, you jump on it.
Well, yeah, we do jump on it because, especially when it comes from a Republican, but I always appreciate somebody like a Hollywood actor who I am proud to say knows my name. I'll never forget walking by a stage door one night on Broadway, and Kelsey Grammer, who was starring at the time in, what show was he in at the time? I think it was, it wasn't La Cage. I forget the show he was in. He was so good in it. He's an American classic. And of course, Fraser Crane. But Kelsey Grammer, I was walking by, and there he was, and he looked up at me, and I said, hey, big fan. He goes, I know who you are. He goes, you've lost a lot of weight, Mike Gallagher. Oh, it was the coolest thing. I thought Kelsey Grammer knows my name. And here's Kelsey Grammer, the actor, who obviously is successful enough that he doesn't have to worry about the blowback that Hollywood and New York would give him, because he doesn't hold back at all in heaping plenty of praise on President Trump.
What issues are you most concerned about that he's doing well on?
Thank you, sir. Well, I think the economy's actually going really well.
I think so too.
And we'll see what happens in the next year or so. I mean, what I always love is when the Democrats start talking about affordability, you always know they're going to charge you twice as much and spend 3 times as much.
He's at a stage door somewhere. I don't know where that was. I just remember what the show was he was in that I loved. And it didn't last real long, but I loved that show, Finding Neverland. And he played the theater owner, and he was so good and just did a great job. And it really was if you like Broadway scores, check out the soundtrack from Finding Neverland. It was a show that ran for maybe a year or so. What in the world is going on with Marjorie Taylor Greene? What do you think? Look, Here's Pennsylvania. She still needs an income. Grifters run to the next paycheck. I'm not going to call her a grifter. I don't want to call her a grifter. I like her too much, and I've respected her too much. And besides, if you believe published reports, thanks to her construction business, she's doing fine financially. Has nothing to do with finances. 800-655-MIKE. What do you think?
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.